turned off the camera, and then I saw 2 cards sticking out, and I think you need to hear them as well. And I'm sitting here shaking, so the first card is Weight of the World. Boundaries. Let go. It's not yours to carry. You don't have to carry the burdens of the past. You don't have to be the one smoothing everything over for everyone else. You don't have to carrying all these masks, all of this weight of all the suppressed emotions. You don't have to carry the burden of making everyone else happy, making sure everyone else is okay. Your job is to make sure that you are okay. That is important. To make sure you are okay. My job is to make sure that I'm okay. Because if I'm not okay, I can't be anything for anyone else. And if I still am, I'm giving from an empty cup. I heard this once, that if you have 5% left, you give 6. And that is not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to fill your own cup first and then give from the overflow. In that way, you don't resent others if they don't give the same amount back, because you're just giving because you can't stop, because you don't want to stop. It's a whole other feeling. And I need to remind myself of that as well, because my boundaries, they're still being built. And I know it's tough, but I've gotten to a point now that I can say no to things. I can cancel if I don't feel good. And I also know that if I have I would say appointments, but it's not appointments with, if it's with friends, but I know that with the right people, I can show up just as I am, and it will be enough. And if I don't feel like I can do that, I will cancel and maybe consider if that is a place that is meant for me, if I can't be who I truly am. Yeah. But the weight of the world is not yours to carry. Start by carrying yourself and try to let the other things go. The other thing, the other card was the Great Severing. I'm sorry, my throat. I have a lot of things with my throat chakra, because speaking my truth, well, that's new for me. And there are still things to heal. more opening to do. And I don't even know if it's the Great Severing, if that's how you say it, but that's how it sounds, what it sounds like in my head. Mars energy, conflict, softening to love. And I think that's a lot of this. Well, it's kind of, to me, this is kind of a darker card. Well, when I, visually, and it gives me like this feeling that the world we live in can be harsh, and if we are met with harshness, we might feel like we need to guard ourselves to be in this world. But it's an invitation to softening, to love anyways. And it is through this softening process that we start to remember who we are, under all the conditioning and learned patterns and behaviors. I'm looking down. There are more cards that wanna be seen. There's this one, and I also think that one wanna come forth. Maybe not. The one in the back will take that one as well. Karmic relationships, Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. And the other one, there was also conflict in that one. So this one, karmic relationships. And I feel like these two might be connected a bit, even though these ones were the one I pulled together. They are also connected in the boundaries. It's not yours to carry. And then softening to love. It's a bigger task, but I think you can do it. Well, yeah. I think there might be not just conflict on the outside or on your inside, also conflict in your relationships. And what I feel called to say is that it is actually through conflict that we can grow closer together. And it might seem a little counterintuitive if you're used to a conflict being anger, yelling, you against the other person, like being on different sides. Very far apart, I would say these two are, but it is through conflict that we can grow closer together, when we open up, when we soften to love, when we take these baby steps. This is from the other way video. If you haven't seen that and you've made it this far, it might also be for you. Yes. I'll call this part 2 or whatever number I've reached 2.2, and the other one will be 0.1. Yes, I think it's gonna be No, it's different from, yeah. It's gonna be a number 0.1 and a number 0.2. Yes, you can find it. I can confuse myself and get off topic. Yes. Just being human. Yes. Growing closer together through conflict. I hope it is this card that says that thing. Whoa, okay, yeah. Sorry, I opened the book and it opened to cracked open. And it says rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. That might not sound so good. 11:01. Just before, yeah, sorry. Cracked open. When you soften to love, you will crack open and it will feel daunting, but it's yeah, it probably just want me to read it. I'll read it and then see if we'll read the one about karmic relationships, hoping that it's actually saying what I wanted to say, but my head is, yeah, my thoughts are scattered. Yeah, and it's the Starseed Oracle. Cracked open. Don't let the weight and density of the world crush your tender spirit. Instead, let it call even more of it home, into your body, at the center front of your life. It's through the extreme pressure of life's trials that diamonds are cultivated. It's when things are at their darkest that we cultivate proper faith, and our light is ignited. It's through the crumbling that we can allow our wounds to be alchemized. Let your pain, sorrow, and losses make you, not break you. Let life alchemize your tragedies into gold. Be open to being cracked open, wide open. It's the difficult times that help us grow in leaps and bounds, and in ways we could only dream were possible. But first, they have to crack us open. Sometimes it hurts like hell. It's nature's way. Whether you let it happen or not, it's going to happen. So surrender to the process. It's how the light gets in. When your heart cracks open, a space is created for your soul to more fully enter. When your soul cracks open, a space is created for the grace of the Holy Spirit to enter. Let your trials, your sorrows, your pains, and your losses transform you into more and more of yourself. Stay open to the possibility that your tragedies and losses, your sorrows and your hurt happened for you, not to you. Bless the thing that broke you down and cracked you open, because the world needs you open. Surrender to the alchemy of life. How can you let life crack you open? Just searching for the karmic relationships. I don't know why I held this in my hand, because it's It's starting to spin. I thought it was just gonna be like 2 minutes. It's funny because it's in alphabetical order and I all of a sudden forgot the alphabet. Yes. Okay. Karmic relationships. Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. The constellation Orion is thought by many to have been a place of great polarity and eventual unity. Some believe that many starseeds who were part of this cosmic history are incarnate on Earth now and are playing out karmic relationships from Orion times. Perhaps you're one of them. Polarity causes conflict and highlights separation. However, because of this, conflict can also result in unity and growth. Too many misunderstandings are caused when we don't open our heart and mind and see things from a different point of view. When we go into reactive second-guessing mode instead of gathering the courage to open our heart, we should admit that we may have reacted because of our own woundings and then find mutual ground. I'll read the rest in a bit. It's just, yeah. If you've seen the other, I don't even know if I talk about it, but it's the thing about healing ourselves. 1717 when I said that. But healing ourselves first, letting all the emotions that we've suppressed come up to the surface so we can look at it, heal ourselves. I know that I am being in conflict in a whole other way than I've been used to, because whenever conflict was arising, I was just trying to smooth things out. I just wanted peace, but it wasn't real peace. It was just like sweeping things under the rug. There, then it isn't there. I don't know if that's a saying in English. It is in Danish. Yes. No. And it's a rug, like a carpet, not a rug. Yeah, sorry. Oh, my own doubts and insecurities coming up. I'm sharing it anyways. That's also part of my journey. But I've also had a pattern of running away if my emotions were too much. I think that's why I've been so tired, so I couldn't physically move. I had to sit with the feelings, and that helped me warp as well. Yes. Oh, I'm shaking. Yeah. Sorry, but the thing about when we have worked with ourselves, we can respond rather than react. And instead of I've recently been in a relationship, and instead of just reacting with anger, yeah, if something hurt me, I went to the bottom of feeling to the roots and found out that it was the sadness. I was actually really hurt. My feelings were hurt, and because I allow myself to actually feel the feelings and wait, so I don't react but I respond, I got a totally different response back, because he saw me in my hurt, and it made it made him respond to that feeling and not just me. I don't know, I haven't really been someone to yell at people. Yeah, 211, sorry. A lot of numbers and distractions, but I've been very scared of my anger, and that's also something I've suppressed, and I'm finding out that I need the anger to set boundaries, not that I need to yell them, but to feel the anger and be like, this is my boundaries. Yes, I'm all over the place. That was why I started reading it. I'm sorry. I hope it makes sense. But instead of it being two people yelling at each other, it was two people being vulnerable with each other, and it was a lot more constructive. It brought us closer together. Yeah, and that is something I'm so grateful to have learned to bring with me to all of the relationships in my life. Yes, I'll read the rest. We are all innocent children looking to be seen, understood and cherished. It's much harder to grow closer through conflict than it is to grow further apart. And yet that's the invitation of conflict. It's easy to react and take things personally. It's more challenging to see the innocence of all involved and find a way to grow closer through the conflict. It's through relationships that we grow the most. How can you soften your heart and drop your defenses enough to see things from a different point of view? How can you see the innocence of all involved? How can you learn to see the similarities rather than the differences? Which relationships do you find the most challenging? How can you see things from a different perspective? How are you being called to allow growth through the conflict? Wow. That's a lot. And yeah, there are 2 cards sticking out, but I'm not sure if they are to be taken. I think. I'm sorry, it's ringing in my ear. I'm still trying to decipher what it means, but yeah, I'm gonna try and pull it, and then I think I'm gonna end it. Oh, I was like, there's nothing. Very, it's also dark, dark card. But there's also all these stars, all this light in the darkness. The void. Stop. Embrace winter. Great cosmic womb. And I actually think it's the perfect invitation or perfect reminder. It's in the void and in, this stopping and embracing winter. When I think of winter, it's, well, a season of rest, at least in nature. We humans have come to a point of just always going. But I think that if we actually believe deep down that it's the truth, that when we follow these cycles, these natural cycles, we feel better as well. And to embrace all of you, we need to embrace winter. We need to step up, look at what we're doing, if it's sustainable, if it's good for us, or if it's just what we've learned to do. We need to rest. We need to maybe put on a blanket, drink a cup of tea or coffee, but I was like, that's maybe more to stay active, and this is just enjoyment. So if you just enjoy a cup of coffee, that's fine. But just this relaxing, creating time for this winter, 27. So I said that. Creating time for the winter, creating time for the energy that you're in. If you are exhausted, please try to give yourself some time to rest. And it's okay if it's in baby steps, if it's you're giving yourself 3-minute pause in the day. If you can't sit down to meditate because everything in your body is just like no, then go for a little walk. Try to walk a little bit slower than you usually do, or when you get your tea or coffee, try to just sit with that one. Just hold it, feel the warmth from the cup, smell it, drink it, look out a window. Just try to find little moments of peace. Baby steps. It is something new, so it's easier to go through the old ways. That's like the highway. It's easy, you can speed down it. And these new neural pathways that you're making, it's like going through the forest where there isn't a path. You have to cut the path. So it's hard in the beginning. Really need to focus. And if you are mentally trained, it's a little well, more exhausting, but it's paving the way, then walking the way, walking it. And just like the paths that animals go through, it will be trodden down, and eventually that path will be bigger and bigger, and the highway you were driving before, well, it will grow over. There will be things or at some point making it less accessible, not as easily accessible. Yeah. Baby steps and embrace winter. Give yourself time to rest. Give yourself grace, tenderness. Try to be just a little bit kinder to yourself.